Buongiorno, good morning, jó reggel from downtown Budapest. We're going to go on a walking tour, sample some goodies, learn about the rich history of this dynamic city, listen to some live music, and talk to the locals. I'm standing on the Pest side of Budapest. Across the way is Buda, and it's divided by the Danube River, the second longest river in Europe. And you can take boat rides, you can go along it and stop in other cities. It's really a great city, both Buda and Pest, to visit. So make sure when you come to Budapest, you go to both sides. This is how you drink beer in Budapest. Ching-ching. Ez mi?
Ez a hagymás rostélyos, rántott harcsa és a bécsi szelet. A lamb.
Lamb and noodles?
No.
Gnocchi. Buon appetito. I'm so excited about this. Halászlé.
Helyezett műfaj, igen, azért eszem én is ilyen helyen.
This is beautiful. The Parliament at night. You know they call this the City of Gold? No. At night it literally lights up like gold. This is Váci utca here on the Pest side, another walking street with lots of shops, lots of restaurants, a little bit of a touristy, but the good thing is that there's the big shopping center where all the locals go right at the end of the street. The other thing I want to say is that Pest, on this side of Budapest, you can find a place to stay and it's very walkable. Of course, for other parts of Budapest, you'll have to take a taxi, Uber, or whatever other service they have, but Budapest, Pest side is very much of a walking street. There's my sister and my niece posing without me, so they better
do you want to get in
stop.
The camera?
Of course I do. This is the Vasárcsarnok. It's one of the big shopping places. There's actually 3 floors of all types of shopping. You can literally find everything here. All Hungarian products. Paprika. Paprika is actually how they invented the vitamin C.
No, she didn't. Oh, you never made me with that.
Oh my God, these Christmas cookies. Made with honey. Wow, I haven't seen red currants in a long time. And mulberries. Salami, salami, salami. Here on the second floor, you can find everything. Hungarian handmade, Italian leather, or Hungarian leather, and souvenir after souvenir, and then the food section. Palacsinta, pancakes, so important in the Sicilian cuisine, and the other one is langos, which is fried dough. But they're going crazy with this. How is it? Yum, langos.
Those thermal bats are cool though, I'm not gonna lie. The thermal bats are cool.
Pickle is my favorite. This is where you'd come to for the real smoke and preserved meats. This is definitely one of the most colorful markets around. So many products to choose from. They sell this everywhere. Chocolate. Oh, I wish you guys could smell this. So fresh and delicious. Évek óta itt vagy, olyan szép vagy, mindig gondolkozok, hogy jövök és foglak látni.
Köszönöm.
I just said to her, you're here for so many years, and I look forward to seeing you when you come. Here we are on the Buda side, up where the castle is, and St. Matthew's Matyás Temple, built in 1015. And since then, it's been built and rebuilt. When the Ottomans came here in the late 14, early 1500s, they turned this into a mosque. And this is probably one of the most touristy areas you'll find in Budapest, for sure. This church was used as a coronation place for all the Hungarian kings. Also served as a mosque. It is truly one of the most unique in the area. That bell tower was finished in the late 1400s. And since then, you can just imagine the stories, the people, the history that went on here. This is one of the most magnificent churches in all of Europe. And if you're a Union Sicily fan, you know I love Cappella Palentina, the one in Montreal, the one in Cefalù, but the same type of art brought here by the Ottomans, and then later all the other conquerors here leaving their mark. This church is stunning. Can you imagine having a wedding here, which is what I think they had a few days ago I saw. This is Queen Elizabeth of Hungary from the 19th century. Take a look at this view. Here by the St. Matthew's Church, there's a series of things that you can do. Little take down the stairs to areas, cafes, outlooks. The Fisherman's Bastion is up there with this view. There's lots to see in the Buda Castle district. 25 important places. Here's the castle right here, and we're over here, St. Matthew's. So lots of shopping, lots of important things to see. And then you have this view from the other side of the castle. On one side is the Danube, and on this side is the city.
Yeah,
He's
so
a Greek god.
he was a god, but here he actually represents the Danube, our biggest river, and the three ladies under him, they represent the three other bigger rivers in Hungary: the Sava, Drava, and the Tisa. The Duna is the biggest one up there. Okay.
There were lots of conquerors here in Hungary, just like in Sicily. Who were some of the main ones?
Yeah, all right. So the Hungarians arrived here in the 800s after Christ, and well, the long occupations started in the 1500s. So the first big empire that occupied us for a longer time was the Ottoman Empire, the Ottoman Turks. They were here for about 150 years. And then at the end of the 1600s, we were liberated by the Austrian Empire. But the Austrian Empire kind of forgot to go home after the liberation, so we became part of the Austrian Empire, and we were part of it until the end of the First World War. And then came a couple of free decades, but unfortunately we ended up on the losing side at the end of both of the world wars. And after the Second World War, we had a long, well, Soviet occupation, so we had a communist dictatorship until 1989. And finally, we've been free.
And the rest, as we know, is history.
Yep.
Now, before then, the Romans were here. This was part of the Roman Empire.
Yeah. So until the end of the 400s, after Christ, there was a Roman settlement here. We still have Roman ruins in Budapest, mostly on the Buda side of the river. You can find the ruins of a military amphitheater. And then after the
Also
Romans...
in Pécs was the first capital, actually, of Hungary. Down in Pécs, there's some Roman ruins there.
Yep, yeah, exactly. And then in
Let's
Budapest...
talk about the most important thing, and that is the foods of Hungary. And I keep wanting to say Sicily, but we have langos.
Yeah, we have langos, which is a street food, like a summery street food.
With all types of toppings.
Yeah, it looks like a pizza, like a deep fried pizza. Usually we call it the communist pizza. we put sour cream and cheese and garlic on the top. That's like the classic langos. And then we also have kürtös kalács, which is chimney cake in English.
That's
like
my niece's favorite.
Chimney-shaped sweet. Dough, and we put like cinnamon, coconut, walnut.
Let me ask you the influence of the desserts, the beautiful sweets. That's the Austrian.
Yeah, that's the Austrian. Influence.
Really pieces of art. I always say in Sicily that there's too beautiful to eat almost. Now let's talk about some of the other main foods like lecho, which is a tomato.
Yeah,
and
it's like
pepper,
the Hungarian ratatouille kind of
thing.
Yeah.
The fish soup.
Fish soup, halászlé in Hungarian. That's usually made of some kind of a river fish and a lot of paprika, spice. We put that into almost every Hungarian dish.
Paprika in
goulash,
everything.
of course. Goulash also has a lot of...
Lots of meats, lots of fish, noodles, lots of
noodles, no kedli in Hungarian.
Kedli.
Yeah, it's like homemade little pasta thingies.
Soups, even in the summer.
Yeah, meat soup, like a clear broth with vegetables. Yeah, we eat a lot of soup. So usually the starter is a soup in Hungary. We can say that.
So actually, we Hungarians came from the Ural Mountains. Near Mongolia, and we were crazy horse riding people, wild people. We're still a little wild, you know.
Yeah, that's right. So it took like almost 1,000 years.
Wow.
So we were wandering around, and finally we took this land in the 800s.
And why do you think they took
Christ.
this land?
So, you know, this area is in the Carpathian Basin, so protected by mountains. Also, it's a really fertile agricultural land. So I think...
There's the river.
The river, exactly. So these are the main reasons why we chose this place.
And then in the year 1000...
Yeah, we became a Christian country.
By Saint Stephen.
Saint Stephen, yeah, the first king. He was crowned in 1000. He converted.
And here's St. Stephen's Basilica. This is actually where my grandparents were married. St. Stephen was the king responsible. He was the first king of Hungary, and he was responsible for Christianizing the area. He realized that to fit into Europe, the country had to become Christian. Beforehand, the original Hungarians were pagans. ask me all the time, I have a couple days, maybe a week, what to see in Budapest. What would you say are the top 5 things that are must-see or must-do?
All right, so on the Pest side, on the flat side of the river, it's definitely the parliament, the house of the country, or Országház in Hungarian. The St. Stephen's Basilica, which is the biggest Roman Catholic church of Budapest. There's a really nice view from the top of the St. Stephen's Basilica, which is one of the tallest buildings in Budapest. And then the Hero Square.
I love the Hero Square. That's where my grandparents lived, and I remember playing there as a child.
Yeah. The most iconic square, like summarizing the 1,000-year-long Hungarian history in Europe. And then on the Buda side, the castle district, the Buda Castle.
And St. Matthew's.
St. Matthias Church, yes. And then the Gellért Hill. So that's 5, right? Yep,
5.
That's 5.
Grazie. This is probably the most well-known and the most beautiful, the Landshid, with these beautiful lions at the gate leading up there. Straight ahead is the castle. It's the Lions Bridge, which is one of 15 bridges with the Danube in the middle, connecting Buda, which is there, and Pest, where I am right now. Now here's a super cool statistic. Hungary, and I keep wanting to say Sicily, Hungary is one of 5 countries in the world with between 70 and 80% water resources underneath it. So it's no surprise that when the Ottomans came here and discovered this great treasure, really, they started the baths, because the thermal baths are one of the biggest and most important things that Hungary has to offer. And that, of course, came from the Ottomans, brought here to Hungary. And also the sauna, or sauna. This is probably the saddest place in all of Budapest. What you're looking at are shoes. And what happened was during World War II in 1944 and 1945, the Nazis gave Jews heavy weights and told them to jump into the Danube. And I do have to say that it's not just the Nazis, because the Hungarians were complacent. While I was raised in both a Christian and a Jewish house, my mom Christian and my dad Jewish, I did have family members who were deported, died, and so seeing those shoes is heartbreaking. There's the Danube in front of you, and look at this amazing view. And the cool thing about being in this area, there's trails and all types of things everywhere.
That boat seems about the right size.
What a majestic view. Isten hozott. God welcomes you. Look at the beautiful handmade work. Let's go. This is how you cook the original guyash levesh. Bob guyash, that's with the beans. And this is the most famous pastry place since 1858. Gerbeau has been here. Fabulous. That's my favorite right there, with the caramel topping and layers of chocolate.
It's a Hungarian.
This is the National Theatre of Budapest. It's so beautiful inside. If you're in Budapest in the summer, don't worry. There's no beaches, but there are plenty of pools. We're on Margaret Island, and this is one of 2 structures that they have, and they have multiple smaller pools over there. There's a wave pool down that way. You can do laps. You can get a little massage, a water massage. You can get a drink. So it's a great little day to spend with your kids. It's about 13 to 15 euro or dollars to get in. And you get a chair. You get even a little locker right here. So in the hot August, July months, this is a great place. Right in the middle of Budapest, you have luscious green, beautiful trees, gardens. By far, one of my favorite things to do is get a coffee, get a cappuccino in a beautiful cafe, listen to live music. You can do that at night too. A lot of the restaurants have live music entertainment. Truly, Budapest is a musical city. Ciao, and just like that, I'm back in Sicily. Today we're in Syracuse. Have a little tour going on, but let me tell you, it was such an unbelievable experience being with my mom, my sister, and my niece. 3 generations taking on Budapest by a storm. So hope you enjoyed this video. You know, if you're thinking of coming to Budapest, it's truly a great place. It's very historic, lots of culture, lots of music, lots of great foods, lots to see. So put it on your list. You need any help? Happy to help you, and who knows, maybe we'll have a future tour in Budapest. Lots of you are asking about it. Thank you for coming on this adventure with us, and we'll see you back here from Sicily next week. Love you guys. Ciao.